Alrighty, it's Acez and Andrew Lang here. And just to give you a little backstory about us, I've been doing a YouTube / podcast / audio with some motivational stuff in the background for about 2 years now, a little over 2 years. And Andrew Lang's been a fellow mentor of mine, Vice President of Sales and Communications. And we came together today to collide because Andrew Lang has also his own podcast with a leadership. And today we want to talk to you about environment and culture. So before we get into that, Lang, why don't you explain a little bit of what you're doing with your podcast?
Yeah, so my podcast is brand new. It's called Content 12. And really my goal is, my journey of public speaking has been a long one. Not very good at all, afraid to get up in front of a group. And so now that's changed. And so if you put 1,000 people in front of me, I would probably thrive off it and not be scared. But the big tipping point for me was all about being able to develop the right content for it. Creative, get people thinking, wanting more, that kind of thing. And so my podcast is really about trying to hit people in 12 minutes or less because I know, battling for people's time is not easy. And so I try to hit them in 12 minutes or less with maybe a situation that they might run into if they're a leader at work or they need to get up in front of their group and talk to them, and try to bring back some history or develop a story where it's not just the leader yelling at the group or telling them what to do. It's so you are creative, you can get passionate about it, and your people walk away thinking like, man, I need to change things up. So that's it. I'm 8 episodes deep, and we're going to see where this baby goes.
Yeah, awesome, man. I'm glad you actually started. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to Content 12. And Acez TTT for the top 10 takeaways. He's doing 12 minutes. I'm doing 10 minutes. It's all fast and relevant information that could get you going in life. But today we came together and we said, why not talk about a topic like environment and culture? Environment and culture are two big topics, so we're going to try to knock it out here. But first off, Lang, how do you even define environment and what it means to your success?
Man, if we're talking about the workplace, I think we've all had experiences where we didn't like the environment, or maybe we did. But, whether it's your first job or you're out of college and it's your first job, the way your leader talks to you or your boss talks to you, it really shapes the kind of culture and how you can act inside of your professional career. And so to me, culture and environment are such an important part, and it's tough because a lot of people want immediate gratification. They want to get results right now. But if you really want results inside of whatever it is you do, building the right culture, taking the time to making sure that your environment is an environment of opportunity and people aren't afraid inside of your environment, man, those are to me are the building blocks if you want to establish a business that's going to be long lasting and successful.
110%, I agree with you. But when we talk about like culture and environment, how about even before the workplace and before you have even the option to control your environment? Because at times a lot of us in our childhoods really don't got a choice to control the environment that we're in. And doing a lot of research on this with checking out the most successful mentors and successful people out there, I've seen that for most or the majority of people that are successful, billionaires, millionaires, have had tough childhoods and tough upbringing. So these are people with bad environments that are very successful now. And then at times you could hear some people that use their environments maybe as an excuse or maybe as like a crutch when things are going tough in their life. Well, this and this happened and that happened, and they relate it back to their environment. For me, I had a tough environment growing up. I had to, take care of my family. I was working at a young age. I had to cancel all sports and quit. And I see sometimes like my friends with kids that go one of two ways. I have friends that have kids that give their kids everything they want. They spoil them. They're already wearing name brand shit, which I don't agree with at all because I didn't know what the fuck Gucci was or Louis or all these things, until I was in my late 20s maybe. And I didn't care about those things because I was raised, in a different fashion. Then I have other friends that, are very humbling and they show their kids the value of every single penny and they make them enjoy things that don't cost a lot of money and they're not materialistic and they don't get their kids into that. So just witnessing those two environments, sometimes I question myself in my head and say, what's going to happen when these kids grow up with these two different kinds of environments? Is it the environment that is tough and that's humbling and that makes you value every single thing in life, that's going to make you more successful in the future? Or is it the environment where you're given everything and you really don't have to work hard for much and just things are coming your way? And is that going to maybe hurt you in the future?
Listen, I don't know if there's one answer to it. You pose an interesting topic. And so here's what I would say. Listen, sometime you've never watched a behind the music on VH1 where somebody had a silver spoon in their mouth. It's always somebody that struggled and parents, divorced or alcoholics, whatever the deal is, and they had to fight through some stuff. And that's why the story is compelling. We don't see the other side. Sometimes the families with a lot of money, maybe those kids don't have some horrific accident or whatever that happened, but mentally they're struggling just as bad. So here, I say it's interesting because no matter who you are, when you're born, you don't control your environment, and when you're 4, you don't control your environment. When you're 11, you might control a couple things, what show you watch, but you really don't control your environment. But at some point in life, we all are able to control our own environment. And it's at different times for different people. But we've all had that moment where it's on me now. The question is, do we control it? And I think the people that you talk about that have been successful, that when they had the opportunity in front of them, they walked to the library 2 miles and were there until it closed instead of going out to the bar while they're in college. And all those stories that you hear about Steve Jobs and whatever, all this stuff. So when you have the opportunity to control your own environment, because we don't for a while, the question is, do you? And I think it doesn't matter what your environment was. It's all about when you have control of it, what are you going to do with it?
I mean, I could agree with you on that. And just to tell you my statement or my stand on that is I would rather take or rather give the childhood or the experience for somebody of a tougher upbringing, because I believe that when you face adversity at a young age, you're just more bound to just be, to have tougher skin. You've experienced more in your life. You've been cut before. You've seen your family work hard or not work hard, maybe be there or not be there, maybe have to, come up on your own. So I do think personally that, if I do have kids, which I don't right now, I would rather raise them in a fashion where they value every single penny, they work hard, and they know they value every single thing. So that's on that point. Now, I do agree with you at some point in your life, which I think you're talking about the point where you turn into an adult, and you have your own independence and freedom, you control your environment. And what do you do with that environment that you control? Because a lot of people that complain about their environment or complain about how things are going in their life or at work or at home or in their relationship or with their friends don't have any control over their environment because they choose not to have any control over their environment.
Yeah.
Where, you could change things in your environment that could change your whole life and your perspective and make you do a lot of other things. So, I mean, what advice would you give to somebody who is not happy with their current environment or their current life situation, and how could they change that up?
So I would say we all needed to develop what we're fighting for. And I use the word fighting because I think people throw it out there like if I were to get 100 people in a room and ask them, what are you fighting for? They would tell me my family. I'm fighting for a better future. I'm fighting for success. I'm fighting for early retirement or whatever.
You say that because I just did that activity and I actually got all those answers.
It's true.
People, so.
And so so I've done this before. I've been in front of 200 people and I asked that question. I asked them to shout it out. What are you fighting for? And then when they're all done with all that, I say, okay, thank you. That's a good point. Good point. I recap it so everybody knows it. And then I'll say, I don't believe any one of you. Because if you've ever seen a fight, what does it last for? 30 seconds? A minute and a half? Maybe 2 minutes if you got two in shape cats. When you get to a point where you're going to physically harm somebody, it's not just a physical thing, it's a mental thing. And your body does crazy stuff and puts blood where it's supposed to go, and but you can't sustain it. So if I ask you what you're fighting for and you tell me your family, Okay, well, you're doing the same shit you did last Tuesday, the Tuesday before that. So you're not fighting for it. You're working hard. You're trying your best. But if you really want to strive for something, you need to find what you can fight for. Because in those 2 minutes when you're fighting for something, man, it's almost impossible to stop you. Even if you're losing the fight, man, if you got somebody on the sideline that try to jump in, they'll be demolished because your adrenaline is. So if you are truly, so a lot of people set goals 5 years, 10 years. I say set goal, find out what you want to fight for. We all desire something in this world. We all want something in this world. Give me 6 months of the best you got. Because you can fight for something for 6 months. And if it's visual and you share it with people and it's in front of you on a random Tuesday when the snow's out and you're bummed out or the clients aren't being, you can look at that picture and it can change your behavior. Because you know in 6 months, I promised my fiance or my best friend that I was going to get this spot or I was going to get this goal. And you can change. But if I'm at 30 years, I want to focus on retirement, I don't know how that's going to help me on some random Tuesday. So I say the first question, the first answer is you need to find something that you're fighting for. And I mean truly willing to fight for it. And when you develop that, then the habits will follow.
Correct. But when you develop that, then your environment should follow as well. Because you gave me a book a couple weeks ago called Atomic Habits.
I did.
It's a great book for anybody who hasn't read it yet. We possibly might summarize it on
You passed me up on it. I'm slow on it.
Yeah. Miracle Morning. Read chapter a day every single morning. But you gave me this book, and this book talks about environment. And that's how this topic even came up. And it talks about how you do, to a certain degree, everybody has the same goals, right? You put it on your Instagram the other day. Winners and losers have the same goals.
Mm-hmm.
It's the systems that are different. The systems are based on the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you want to stop drinking alcohol, you can't have a bottle of alcohol on your kitchen table when you get home.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to stop eating sweets, don't have sweets in the house. If you want to drink a lot of water, put a gallon of water in 7 different locations in your home. You're going to be bound to drink more water. So when I talk about environment, that's what I mean. Now, for somebody that wants to be successful, wants to work out, if they purchase a gym, they start hanging out with people that hit the gym together. They start following all the social medias for the gym sponsors and the heroes in the gym. And they start educating themselves on the gym. That's surrounding their environment with their goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when they go home, that's all they're going to see. And when they hang out with their friends, they're hanging out with their friends that do the same thing. That's controlling your environment to reach a certain success point. So I believe when you talk about environment, what things are we changing in our lives to reach our goals, and are we even changing our environment? Because listen, I've been a victim of this too.
We all have.
Right? We all have.
Mm-hmm.
I want to quit doing this. I want to quit doing that. But then I'm doing the same exact shit that's not helping me quit it. So when it comes to that type of environment, for the folks that, so you said that they got to find their why, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
real
for
why.
sure.
Not
Yeah.
the family, not the money, not the future, the real thing inside that pushes you.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I could say a lot of things, right? I'm scared of death. I want to live my best life ever while I'm here.
Got it.
I want to give it my all every single day and be the best version of myself. And I want to be financially free and take care of my family and my future family that I'm going to have with my wife. And I want to travel the world. And that's all I think about, so nothing else matters when I'm going there. But now it's time to change my environment and make that match that.
Yeah, I got it.
So what do? I surround myself with books.
Yeah, so here's what I'm talking about. So when somebody says they're fighting for their family, I say, if you want to show me that you're fighting for your family, how about this? It's summertime. Your daughter is on the basketball team. She's 13, right? And, of course, you want her to have success. And you go to the games and you clap your hands and you show her love, whether she had a good game or a bad game. You do all the stuff that a parent's supposed to do. That's not fighting for your child. That's supporting your child. That's being there for him. If you want to fight for your child, here's what you do. I know you work late. You work till 8 o'clock every night, just about. Well, I need you to empower somebody else on your team to have some kind of leadership role. So you're asking to get out of there at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you're going to be in that driveway with your daughter from 6 to 8, 2 days a week. You're going to tie up her right hand, and you're only going to let her shoot layups with her left hand. And you're going to go layup after layup after layup after layup. You're going to tie your right hand, and you're just going to do left-handed layups with her. And you're going to do that twice a day for 6 months. And when she gets in that game, you won't just be hugging her because you love her. You'll be hugging her because she hit 24, and she hit the game winner, and they They grabbed her right hand, and so guess what? She had the left free. To me, that's what fighting for your family means, because your actions support it. So here's why I bring that up. So 6 months has passed. You did your thing. You showed up on Tuesday and Thursday. You're working on the left hand. Now you need to find something else for 6 months. And then after that 6 months is up, you need to find a different goal. And then after that 6 months, you need to find a different goal. And so you stop waking up in a, I hope the sun shines on me today. I hope I get lucky. I hope my boss singles me out. You don't wake up like that anymore in that environment. You wake up knowing that if you want something and you put your mind to it, you know it's a done deal. So you've created an environment of success, or at least belief in yourself. And when you believe in yourself, holy smokes, man, the world can't handle you. 100%. I think that's important.
No, and I agree. And everybody wants to do that. But the way they do that, because people are going to be questioning themselves right now, like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to fight for something like that. How do I do it? It's the environment. So, for example, from a parent that has a daughter or a son that, would you say, what kind of sport? Basketball, right? Mm-hmm. How do I change my environment to help me sustain my goals and accomplish those and help my daughter or my son out in basketball? What I do is, number one, maybe get some books on how to train basketball.
Sure.
Right? Maybe wake up a little earlier and have my alarm there. Maybe cancel plans that I had, maybe if I have a poker night, maybe cancel that night and do a basketball night with my kids.
Sacrifice, baby.
So that's how you sacrifice and change your environment to those things. But without changing your environment and doing the same exact things you were doing and waking up at the same exact time and not changing anything or empowering anybody at work, that's not really changing your environment and making it work. So for anybody out there that's listening, for them to want to do something in their life, ask yourself, what's 5 things you could change that surround you that can make it easier to accomplish anything that you're trying to accomplish? And could you give one good example of that? For if I told you what's one thing you want to do and what's 5 things you could change that surround you, that could help you get to that get to that goal closer.
Well, listen, I don't know if I could give you 5. I'll do my best, but here's what here's one thing. So here's one thing that I believe is the most important if you want to change your environment and go through, create an environment of, I know I can do it, so to speak, inside of your world. And that's one thing, is to share. Most people don't do it. Most people don't share their goals. Like, how many people say what their New Year's resolution is? Not many, because I don't want to fail in front of you. I'd rather fail in private, where you really don't know that I didn't do well, and so I don't have to have that embarrassment out loud. If you really want to get somewhere, then share it. Yell it from the rooftops. And 2 things will happen. You share because people will hold you accountable. The people that care about you know what you're fighting for. And when you're trying to lose weight and they see you over by the vending machine, they'll peek their head over and say, hey, Lang, what you doing over there, man? We need that from time to time, because that vending machine has a lot of good stuff in it, man. There's Reese's in there, and there's Doritos in there, and it's all good, right? So I need somebody to hold me accountable. The other reason that you share is because it's amazing, but you do not and will not let people down. When you put out there, this is really what I want, not like I'm trying to lose weight and I'm trying to be a better person. Like, come on, get out of here. You be specific, but when you share and people that you care know about it, well, when I run into that person and they ask me about how's it going, the last thing I want to tell them is, yeah, it didn't go too well. So you will raise your own level if you share. So number 1 to me would be sharing. So
you think sharing is part of your environment?
For sure, because you involve other people in it.
Okay.
When you share, listen, I want to be able to add value in whatever I do. So I want to do my job well, and I want to have success. I'll be on the top of the stack rank report when it comes out. But if somebody else is struggling and I got a chance to help them and impact them, you just tell me the other day, you had somebody that was struggling at their job, and they listened to your YouTube stuff, and they shared it with somebody else who listened to it. And so now the 2 of them go back and forth and talk about your YouTube stuff. That's an environment change for them, because that's not what they used to do. They used to talk about playing video games and talk about the game last night and talk about some female or whatever the deal is. But they changed their environment based on what you gave them. And so because they changed it, their behaviors change. So I think when you share, you bring others into your environment. And while like I said, I want to do well at work and I want to be all the best and all that, I want to be able to go home one day and have my significant other ask me, how'd your day go? And I don't want to answer with, my production was this. I want to answer with, man, my guy Sharaf was down today. I didn't know quite what to do because he's never down. The guy's always on a 10. And I took him aside and I looked him in his eyes and I gave him a few words and he looked at me and said, you're right. And he went out there and lit the world on fire. That's what I want to tell my significant other. That will move me. So when you involve other people in your world, your environment changes automatically. Now, you can involve them with negative stuff by complaining about stuff all the time, and that will be your environment. And we do that. Mm-hmm. You know that.
Yeah, so to break it down to a formula, right? Because I believe there's 3 to 5 things for every single environmental change that you want to make.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to be more healthy, what's the 5 things you do? Number 1, you want to start talking to healthy people.
Mm-hmm.
Resources and technology are amazing right now. You could listen to healthy podcasts. You could watch healthy videos. You could buy healthy meal plans. Mm-hmm. You could watch healthy shows. Mm-hmm. Like, you could literally surround your life around health if you really wanted to. It just shows you the limits you could go when you really want to get addicted and attached to something. But hang out with healthy people. Surround your house with healthy goods. Get rid of everything else that's not healthy. Watch healthy shows. Do healthy things, right? So who are you seeing, right? What are you listening to? Mm-hmm. What are you watching? Who are you hanging with? And what are you surrounding yourself with? So I think it's the who, what, why, where, when. Right? If you could change those 5 things for every single environmental change, health is just one thing, If it's smoking, get rid of all the smokes, right? Get some nicotine gum in your house, whatever it is. If it's working out, start hanging out with people that work out. Start watching workout videos. Surround your house with healthy stuff. If it's being successful, start mastering your craft. Start waking up early. Start staying up late. Start scheduling things that you want to do. But if you surround everything that you see, everything that you hear, and everything that you're surrounded by with whatever it is that you want to do, I believe that's a formula to find your success. So yes, I believe your environment does matter, because anytime you hear of somebody successful, millionaire or billionaire, they're not sleeping in and getting drunk on a Wednesday. They're not, and the ones that are, like if you want to bring up the celebrities like Mike Tyson and stuff, like most of them lose everything, right? The ones that are not financially, savvy or financially smart or, keep working on their craft. So I believe for anything you want to do, ask yourself right now, what is it that you want to change in your life? And then when you figure out what that one thing is, what that one goal is, ask yourself again, what am I doing to change my environment around that and to make my environment more relatable to that, to help me succeed in that? Those questions I would ask. And that's kind of what that book you gave me was talking about connecting your things to actions. Like, there's certain things you do every single day. Every single day you brush your teeth, right?
Hope so.
I hope so. Every single day you use the bathroom in the morning. Maybe every single day you take a shower. Maybe every single day you walk the dog. So what if by that dog's leash every single day you had your headphones or your AirPods right by there? And that was a constant reminder every time you grabbed your dog's leash to put those AirPods in and listen to a podcast or listen to an audible book, right? Mm-hmm. And that could be your reading for the day. And if your goal was to drink more water, what if every single day by the toothbrush you had a gallon of water on top of your toothbrush? So every single time you went to brush your teeth, you moved it, drank the water, then brushed your teeth after. So if you could just connect your actionable items that you do every single day to the habits that you want to create, you build systems. And the less things you have to think about in your mind, because these things are systems and become habits, your brain can focus on more other things. Because what tends to happen, and it's happened with me a lot of times, I burn my willpower throughout the day, and at the end of the day I say I want to go to the gym, and I don't go to the gym. But I was just telling you that yesterday I went to the gym because I connected it to an actionable item. I left my car running in the street on the sidewalk, where in the last month there's been 2 or 3 cars stolen. Was it a dumb idea? Maybe. But it made me run in the house, not change my mind, tell my wife I'm grabbing my clothes, I'm going to the gym, ran out of the house, went to the gym.
It's good, man.
So for everybody out there listening, why don't you connect what you're trying to do to an actionable item that you do every single day? Connect those two together so you take out the thought process behind it, and your brain can focus on other things throughout the day. And I think that's how really you master your environment and help yourself accomplish those goals.
Yeah, you talked about surrounding yourself with the right people. It's funny. I don't, not everybody's a fan of the NBA, but so this past off season, what did you have? You had all the superstars try to get with the other superstars. And you had all these super teams. And it seems like, I don't know, when I listen or I read about it, people are not happy about it. They don't like it. They say everybody wants to go play with their friends and all this stuff, and it's ruining the NBA. And wow, to me, it's the damn most exciting offseason I've seen in a while. But here's what I think is happening. I think that if I'm one of the elite level performers in the NBA, and I get around and my team has a bunch of average performers, well, damn, I'm not challenged. And so maybe it looks a certain way from the outside, but I want to go play with the best. I want to be in practice every day with the best. I want them to challenge me and raise my level. And I think that's what successful people do, man. You brought it up.
If you're not doing that, you're getting worse. If you're surrounding yourself with people that are not better, you're getting worse.
And I mean, listen, you can't go hang out with Steve Jobs every day. Like, you know, part of a successful person's, I think, role in this world is to recreate yourself and others. So there's going to be times where, listen, you're going to be the leader and you'll be the one that has the skill, and you're going to have to put that into somebody else so that you can have a second superstar on your team. There is mentorship as a super important, but
it's crazy that you say that.
Yeah.
Because what we're doing right now is exactly what you're talking about. See, I couldn't find a lot of people that were interested in self-development and growth and leadership and motivation. You've been a mentor of mine. We haven't hung out much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe on occasions here and there. We're both busy people.
Your birthday almost a year ago,
My birthday almost a year ago coming up. But we got together. You're doing a podcast. I'm doing my YouTube thing. We're meeting weekly now.
Mm-hmm.
And why are we doing that? Because we're trying to surround each other and our environments to be more successful. And that's the truth.
Yep.
That's why me and you are here right now. Who would have thought if you would have asked me last year, you and Andrew Lang are going to be in Detroit. What's this place? Detroit Shipping Yard.
Shipping Company. Yeah.
Shipping Company.
Yeah.
Right? On the rooftop here in a little room doing a podcast.
With
if you would have asked me
200 people going crazy outside,
200 people outside, yeah. If you would have asked me that a year ago, I would have said, no, it's not going to happen. But the reason that we're doing this right now is because I needed you in my environment to help me succeed and grow, because I have nobody else, you know, that's doing the same kind of thing in my area. So it's important if me and you had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more of us, and we created a committee and a society, and it got bigger and bigger, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, the growth is going to be endless, right? And that's how startups and things grow, because they find people like-minded and they all get together and they have all the same environment and all the same goals, and things grow from there. So I just think it was funny that you were saying that, because that's exactly what we're doing right here. We've actually influenced each other's environments, and we're helping each other grow into our own passions and, you know, similar goals and similar environments. And
yeah, no doubt. And listen, we're not experts at this level, and maybe our behind the music video that shows in 20 years this will be part of it. Right? We cut our teeth and we stuck with it because it's not easy, but we continued, just like you talked about. We have an opportunity to lay on the couch tonight. We got an opportunity to come out here and see what we can challenge each other with. And the more and more and more and more and more that we do that, I don't think anything negative can come from it. Maybe greatness doesn't, but there's definitely not going to be a negative that comes from it. And that's the part that inspires me is, this is an opportunity to challenge each other and express experiences and find out what we can push ourselves to next.
yeah, I mean, what's your ROI investment, right?
Yeah,
What's your return?
Little time.
If I wasn't doing this, what do you think I'd be doing?
Playing pool.
Playing pool, chilling out, right?
Yeah.
Probably doing more work from the work I already got off. Probably go back home and log back in and do more work, you know? This is stuff that doesn't have a negative return, and that's why I can never resent it or regret it, you know, because I'd rather be doing this than anything else. And that's the environment that matters, because, listen, if you surround yourself with people that are unsuccessful, if you surround yourself in a household that's not matching exactly your framework of how your mind works and is not aligned with your goals, it's going to be very hard to be successful. You know, you put me in a house full of chocolate bars, I'm probably going to eat some chocolate bars, right? It's pretty much sounds like common sense.
Sounds
but
good.
if you put me in a house with, 5 or 6 people that work out and with all healthy foods, I'm probably going to be healthy and do exactly what they do. And this probably, you could think to yourself in your head, a lot of times this happened with you when you hung out with a certain group of people and you started doing the same thing that group of people did, and a certain time you hung out with another group of people, you did the same thing that group did. So
Sure.
environment is everything, man. And I think that's what this podcast is concluding to, is that think about what you want to do in your life, whatever that is, the goals, the hunger. What's the one thing you want to accomplish?
What
And
you're
then think
fighting for.
what you're fighting for. And then think how your environment affects that thing. And if you could ask yourself, what's the 5 things you could control in your environment to help you be more successful in that one thing you're trying to succeed in, what would you change? If this was a perfect world and you could change everything right now, what are the 5 things you would change? And again, it's the what, the who, the why, the where, the when, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you surround yourself with in your location at home? Who would you talk to? What would you listen to? What would you watch, right? With all 5 senses, how would you change your whole environment to make you and help you accomplish that goal a lot quicker and efficiently?
Yeah, no doubt. And I would leave you with share. I would leave you with prepare. Because what you're talking about, hanging the headphones on by your keys or putting the water by your toothbrush, that takes preparation. So you're going to have to be proactive and do that before, because you know that you're going to be grabbing them keys and walking the dog or whatever the deal is. And so you might as well just put the headphones in. But if they're not there, it's a wrap. It's not going to happen. So share, prepare, and probably reflect. And I think we don't do enough of this. We'll do it at work. Our leaders might ask us to do it. Hey, let's debrief. What'd you learn? What'd you talk about? Or what'd you take away from it? But we don't do that in our own lives very much. We might do some stuff and then just pass out. Or maybe we're back to our old habits at that point. But if you share with others, let them know what you're fighting for. You prepare for it, like you were talking about. And then you break it down and you really recap it. And was I successful? What are the actions that I take? Well, hey, I need to duplicate them on the next goal. And I'm a firm believer in, listen, I think all of us, even if you're no good at life, you'll rock 8 or 9 amazing things that happen.